Good afternoon, everyone. We'll just wait for a few seconds to get yourself situated. Also, some general housekeeping items. This is a recorded webinar, so we will be emailing you the presentation through our YouTube channel, as well as the presentation as well. Also, Gasoline, you always beat me to the punch. Good afternoon. But it's a good opportunity for you to introduce yourself, what type of retail industry you're in. Because like that, we could definitely have that engagement, that interaction with Rosalind, as she is one of our subject matter experts based on her previous career. And she'll be able to give her experience, her tidbits, the know-hows to fully calculate your retail calculations. But once again, this is a recorded webinar, so I strongly encourage you, to engage, ask me questions, the easy ones to me, Rosalind, the hard ones. If you have any questions, please, I encourage you to put them in the Q&A, and I'll be able to moderate them on your behalf. Okay, and then, well, yeah, so we'll go ahead and get started. So once again, thank you all for attending today's webinar in Retail Math 101. And a brief description of what is the Miami-Dade Business Navigator program. It's funded through a cooperative agreement through the U.S. Small Business Administration, in which the program is comprised as a lead hub. In this case, it is the Florida SBDC at FIU. And yes, the slide deck and the recording will be emailed to all participants. So once again, the Florida SBDC at FIU, it is the actual lead hub in the Navigator program, in which it's working with a network of spoke organizations that deploy community advocates to help the small business owners in the recovery and the resiliency. In which the overall goal is easy, is to work with you, the small business owners, focused on businesses owned by veterans, women, as well as socially and economically disadvantaged individuals. Including with the Florida SBDC FIU, we also have 7 great organizations under the same ecosystem through the county, as we have Ascendis, branches, the EDC of South Miami-Dade, Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce, Lospeda, and Startup FIU Procurement. All of these excellent and great resource partners are able to assist you at no cost, and at the same time, taking your business from one level to the next. So once again, the overall focus is to create that local community navigator network here in Miami-Dade County to assist small business owners with consulting, mentoring, and training. Now, if your business is located outside of Miami-Dade County, don't worry. I'll be more than happy to connect you with the appropriate small business resources in your region to help you. Along right here is our pretty much contact page. You could visit us at our website at miamibusinessnavigator.com. Shoot us an email, like and subscribe our YouTube channel, and follow us on our social media channels of some upcoming events, resources to assist you and provide you the necessary resources that you're seeking. So without further ado, allow me to introduce you to Rosalind Rice. She could give you a brief background of her experience, where she has worked previously. And the floor is yours, Rosalind.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. It's so nice to be here with you. My name is Rosalind Rice. I am one of the consultants with the Miami Business Navigator program. And day in, day out, I get the opportunity to talk to small business owners just like yourself. And I just want to say congratulations on taking the time to learn all about what retail math is and how you can discover opportunities in your business. When you think about who does not want more customers, more sales, an understanding of having more profit in their business. And those are all of the things that we're going to talk about today. Just a little bit about me. I've had 25 years at a retail, at a corporate level. I was in a buying office for the largest department store in North America. I've worked with power brands that are global. And so I bring a lot to the table in regards to strategy on how to make sure that your products are selling. So let's talk about, why do you need retail math? Retail math, what we're going to talk about today is why do I need it? Simply, what is it? Like when you think about math, sometimes that can be a sticky word. You think about what is retail math. So we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about how do you apply it to your business. So I want you to imagine that we're going on a road trip together and we've chartered a bus for our vacation. Like we're all traveling in this bus together. And the driver comes on the intercom and says, I have good news and bad news. Now we get to decide if we want to hear the good news or the bad news first. But he starts with the bad news. So he says, we are lost. I have no idea how fast we are going. I don't know what direction, and I don't know how much fuel we have left. In that scenario, this bus driver has a broken dashboard. He does not know anything. But then he goes on to say, the good news is we're making progress, right? And so how would you feel if that bus driver was literally driving blind? When you think about how many small business owners, entrepreneurs are running their business, they are flying blind because many are doing many different activities in the business without ever looking at the financial data to help them gauge the right next step to take in the business. So it is true, and you will hear this in business, what you measure, what you track, what you analyze is destined to improve in your business. So we do not want to financially manage our business from a disadvantage, from a place where we are making all of these sacrifices. When you think about the time and the resources that you're pouring into your business, we don't want to make decisions blind. And that's what retail math really helps us to do. Retail math allows us to be accountable to our financial goals. It gives us a clear direction on where we are going. Unlike the example of the bus driver, we have a clear direction of where we're going. We have clarity, we have focus. We know how we stack up against the competition because we've really looked at our numbers. We know what we are performing. We know the results in our business because we're actually taking the time to look at it. And then from a team perspective, whether we have people that are laboring in the business with us, we know how to encourage our team with this financial information. So whether you call it sales numbers or metrics, sales data or key performance indicators, KPIs, you'll hear all different terms. It helps to create this accountability in your business. And when you do that, you'll be able to not just come up with a subjective statement. So when I have my clients and I say, how is your business going? The most general response that they give is often, oh, my business is picking up. And I'm like, what does that mean? Or I will hear the words, business is great. Again, what does that mean? I asked a client, she just had a big Valentine's Day push. How was Valentine's Day sales? Oh, it was great. And so we really had to work on defining what does that mean for her? Or you'll hear the term, I'm selling a lot. So when you learn about different indicators in your business, you'll be able to have a clear, hey, I picked up 25% in my business over this time last year. You'll be able to talk very intelligently about how your business is performing. You want to make sure that when you're in your business, there are many different financial numbers that you can look at. And they will be different depending on your industry. For instance, if you are selling something of a tangible product, most likely you're going to look at sales data. You're going to look at how many transactions you've had. But on the flip side of that, if you're selling insurance, maybe you're looking at the amount of your book of business, or you're looking at premiums. If you are an accountant, you're looking at how many tax filings that you're doing, because that has a direct impact on your sales. sales. Or if you're an attorney, you're looking at your billable hours. So depending on your industry, it's going to look different on what numbers you track. But this session is really geared for those of you that are selling tangible products. But don't fear if you're here from another type of industry, you're not selling a tangible product, maybe you have a service-based business, that's okay, because the concepts that we talk about can be applied to multiple businesses. So it is time for us to learn how to get those shoppers to keep coming back. And we're doing it with the hard evidence of our financial numbers. So what is the retail math term? Retail math is a way to analyze the business in order to help manage it and make important decisions. These are the financial answers you need on some of the toughest challenges you have right now in your business. Retail math helps you understand, is my business on track or is it off track? And when you're looking at these numbers on a consistent basis, I remember when I was working in part one of my career, we would look at our sales data every single morning. If I was actually in a retail store, honestly, we would look at it every single hour to see what the traffic patterns were as far as people coming in the door, what we were selling, how many items we were selling to each customer. I want you to think about this. If you're tracking to have a healthier lifestyle, right? We're only the second month into 2023. You're going to look at certain body measurements as hard evidence that you're making progress. So you're going to track your weight to see if you're losing or gaining weight. You're going to look at how many inches. Maybe you're losing inches somewhere. You're going to look at your blood pressure, your cholesterol. You're going to look to see if your clothes are fitting different. That's what retail math really does. It becomes those indicators that are evidence that we are making progress in our business. So every single business needs to have a dashboard. Unlike the broken dashboard that we talked about with the bus driver, we need to have a dashboard of different metrics that we are looking at. And if you're not sure what that should be, talk to one of the consultants at the Navigator program, and we can totally help you with that. Retail math helps you know what is the right next decision to make in the business. It talks to us about, should I be cutting expenses? Is my pricing where it should be? And we're going to talk about all of this with the inflation that we're dealing with. Do I need to reprice some of my slow sellers that I have on my selling floor or on my website? So let's just start going through some of the common terms that you will hear when you are selling products or looking at some of the reports that you have access to with your payment processing systems. So this one is gross sales versus your net sales. And if you are, again, selling tangible products, this is a part of what you will report to the Department of Revenue when it's time to pay your quarterly sales tax. So it's, in its simplistic form, gross sales minus any returns or discounts equal your net sales. So in this example, $100 minus $20, maybe there was a discount that we provided, is $80, and that is our net sales. Gross sales are great when you're looking at sales for a specific time period. So like I said, we would look hour by hour in certain circumstances, but maybe you're looking at it daily. You can even look at it monthly. I wouldn't suggest only looking at it quarterly, because then you can miss things that happen in that quarter. So if you're looking at it daily, weekly, monthly, it will help guide you on when you should have payroll. So if I know that the majority of my sales are done between 12 and 5 p.m., then I know that that's when I need to have my staff come in, and I don't need those early morning headcount that aren't really generating any sales. It's the reason why now I went to the mall yesterday. The mall doesn't even open up until 11. It used to open up at 10, and that's simply because they don't have enough revenue or net sales to compensate for them having a full team of people at 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. Now, gross sales, which a lot of people will quote, it's not an accurate depiction of what you're going to earn. You really want to look at your net sales. For example, you might say, Rosalind, I don't have any returns. My receipt says that all of my sales are final. Okay, I understand that, but maybe you're providing a discount. You need to look at the dollar amount that you're providing in regards to that discount, so that you know exactly what number you're working with after you have taken account for the discount. So for instance, if I have a pair of sneakers and they're $100 and I give a 20% discount, then the shoes are going out the door at $80. So many times business owners will just reference, like when I say, hey, what is your annual sales from last year? They're just going to give me that gross number of swipes that they had with their Square, Clover, or their Shopify. But you want to make sure you dial down to that net sales. And of course, those software programs and many others will let you know what your net sales are. So while we're talking about software systems, I want to let you know there is so much information that you get from these payment processing systems, and you want to make sure that you are tapping into them. One of the things that they are now providing, you can have a live chat bot. So that when someone is looking at your information online and about to start shopping, a little box will come up and nudge them to start a conversation. And you can literally be having a conversation, you or one of your team members, in real time on someone who's trying to decide what to buy. That in and of itself provides a lot of information, because what if you start to see that customers are asking the same questions over and over? It might help you understand, okay, maybe my website isn't really easy to navigate, or I have on my website the word window dressing when the consumer keeps asking about curtains. So it's little things like that that you can learn when you're able to have these live conversations with prospective consumers. The other thing is the opportunity for you to send a link through their email marketing systems that immediately ask them for a Google review. And we all know, in regards to increasing our SEO, the more Google reviews you have, you come to the top of the list when someone is searching for your, whatever the keyword is for your business. So I just wanted to cover just a few of the features of those payment processing systems. They provide great sales data, great reporting. If you're unclear how to read it, definitely reach out to the Navigator program, and one of our consultants are able to help you with that. So we talked about net sales. Let's now talk about percent change. And I know, don't freak out. You're like, oh my gosh, Rosalind, what is that looks like? Division, numbers. But I'm going to tell you how you apply this to your business. So when you're looking at a change from one time period to the next time period, in this example, this year versus last year. So the TY is not thank you. It's this year versus last year. You divide that by the last year units that you sold, and it helps you to understand, how is your business growing, or how is it not growing? So in this example, you can see in 2022, 2021, maybe I sold 10,000 units of a certain item. And in the last year, the year but prior to that, I sold 8,000 units. And when you do the math, it shows that there is a 25%. Now you might say, well, what is that 25%? What that shows you is the difference in the numbers from one year to the next. So that tells me that my business was up 25% over the previous year. And I got to tell you, anytime you have a business that is growing, that is exciting. You might have looked at just your Valentine's Day sales, and you might say, I sold this amount over that amount, and it's a 25% increase over the previous year. You know that your business is moving in the right direction. Even when you're listening to the news, you will hear people say, hey, inflation has increased 7%. This is the formula really that they are using to come up with that calculation. So why is this number helpful? It helps you to understand how your total business is growing, or you could just look at a specific category. So let's say that you're selling food and you want to see how your desserts are trending versus your smoothies. And you can see that your desserts are trending higher and growing faster than your smoothies. What does that tell you to do? It tells you to start making smart decisions on the type of ingredients that you are buying based on how your business is growing or not growing. Another thing you might think about, if you have a category of business where there are multiple items, like for instance, jewelry. Within jewelry, you have necklaces, bracelets, earrings. It helps me to understand, again, how my bracelet business might be doing versus my earring business. When you see that number as a negative number, it lets you know that your business is going down in the wrong direction. So we will say like, oh, business was down 10%. It comes from this formula here. And you understand that you're selling 10% less than you did in the previous year. The next one is percent to total. And again, using that jewelry, you look at what percent is a certain category of your business total. So in this example, you can see I sold $2,000 worth of bracelets and earrings. I only sold $600, but my total jewelry sales were $8,400. So when I think about my business as a big pie or a big pizza, because I love pizza, I can see that my bracelets are almost 25% of my business. So this is a great metric where you have multiple categories in one business. I think about restaurants that sell many different products. I think about clothing studios. So you might have pants, shirts, t-shirts, dresses, hats, accessories. This type of calculation is what you need to be looking at. Also a florist, how are your roses performing versus your hydrangeas? How are your birthday arrangements versus your funeral arrangements? Not to be morbid in any type of way, but that's a reality for florists. Also in skincare, you think about, you have your toners, your moisturizers, your cleansers, and then all of your different services. So it's important for you to know what slice of the pie each of the different categories are. And when you look at that formula that I just showed, the percent to total, it will let you know. Now, in this example, you can see earrings are only 7%. But think about this. What if I'm buying 70% of my inventory in earrings, but yet they only are 7% of the business? That means I'm going to have an inventory problem in earrings. So you see how when we have these numbers, they really help us to be able to determine, what do I purchase next based on what is actually happening in my business. I'm not making any subjective assumptions about what's selling. I have hard evidence with my financial data to let me know what is happening. So sales numbers will help business owners just make these smarter decisions, as we've been talking about. But let's now talk about pricing. And so here's the question for you. In the midst of rising cost, rising shipping cost, rising inflation, are you pricing your products in the best way possible? This is a conversation I have many times with clients, because they'll say to me, Rosalind, I just don't feel like I'm making enough money. And the first thing I'm going to ask, let's talk about your pricing. So one of the ways that we do that is with this calculation, the markup. What are you marking up to make sure that you have enough margin in your price? So when you look at your markup dollars, it's just retail, what you're selling it out the door, versus the cost minus the cost. The markup percent is calculated there, but we'll focus more on the dollars. So let's say I have an item and it costs $34.78. And I'm pricing that at $80. What are my markup dollars? $45.22. And when you do the calculation, my markup percent is 56.5. Now, I will say all of your payment processing, they have all of this automatically calculated for you. So you don't have to be so busy like writing notes, because this is automatically calculated for you. But I wanted you to go behind the scenes to see what numbers are a part of those numbers that you see on your reports. So the markup dollars is the difference between the cost of an item and its retail price. The markup percent is what is the percent increase on the original cost of the item. So depending on the industry that you are in, the markup is going to differ. So it's important for you to know competitively, what is the markup in my industry? What do I mean by that? When I was in the tech industry and we were selling tech products like smartwatches, that only had a 35% markup. There were very slim markup potential with tech items because there's just so many parts sourced from so many different places that there was very thin margin and markup in regards to tech items. So if you have cell phones or you're thinking about in your computers, devices, those have very, very thin markup. But on the flip side of that, anything in restaurant, if you're selling alcohol, has high markup. Also, sunglasses and jewelry. Sunglasses, for the most part, it does not matter what name is on it, it's plastic. So there is a high markup on sunglasses, jewelry, fragrances. I know you might pay $100 for that ounce of fragrance, but let me tell you, there is a heavy markup in regards to fragrances. What you pay for is the face that is behind promoting that fragrance. That's just a little inside scoop for you. So you always want to work with your consultant in regards to pricing. Let's go back. Are you pricing your product correctly? Now, you want to make sure not only are you pricing it correctly for you to be able to make money and to be able to pay yourself, but you want to make sure that you're pricing your products in a way that it is competitive. Now, I want you to know Amazon and Walmart are not your competition. You will never be able to have that type of price because they buy in such large quantities that they're able to have incredibly low prices. But competitively, people that are in your same market of business, are you pricing your product also competitively? When you're thinking about how do I price it, you want to make sure that you take into account the raw materials. If you have a food item, the raw ingredients, but you can't stop there. You want to also think about the fixed expenses. What are your labor costs? How many people, how many hours, and at what pay rate are you paying for someone to help you manufacture that food or that ice cream or whatever it is that you're wanting to bring to market? You have to think about that. You also have to think about the operating expense of the kitchen and the leasing of the equipment. If you're not factoring that into your price, and we have whole activities to help you with that, then you're going to be losing money. Whether you are using a payment processing system and they're charging you 3% or whatever, 2.9%, for you to be able to allow that consumer to have the convenience to swipe, buy it online, you want to pass along that to your consumer. So you want to make sure that when you're providing this convenience for them to be able to not have to pick it up in store, just swipe and you're going to deliver it to them, you want to pass along those shipping costs. All of that has to factor into your price. Okay. So you want to think about your variable costs, whatever the raw materials are, but also your fixed costs. And that's what most people leave out: labor, rent, advertising, packaging. If you're selling a food, you have to think about your distributor costs, your broker cost, all of those things factor in. So we talked about markup. The next one I want to talk about, and we'll take questions at the end because I know we'll probably start to have a lot of questions. Please, in the Q&A, put your questions in there. Let's talk about gross margin. This is one of the main indicators that your business is profitable and on track. It is an accounting term when we say cost of goods sold, but your gross margin dollars are basically your sales minus your cost of goods sold. Again, cost of goods sold, you will see abbreviated as COGS, is more of an accounting term. But again, I want you to be understanding of what that means. What is the cost for you to make and produce this product? Gross margin percent, the formula is there. So let's say we have $1,000 of sales for the month, and the cost to make that item, to make those sales, is $350. We worked with our suppliers. We got the best price. It's $350. I can then know that my gross margin dollars are $650, and my gross margin percent is 65%. Again, it's going to vary. What is a good gross margin percent for your industry? But this one is a common metric that you'll want to know. You want to build as much markup, because the more markup you have in your price, again, but you want to be competitive, it allows you to have more margin. And when you have more margin, you have the opportunity to have more profit. And when you have more profit, you then have the ability to make sure that you're paying yourself a decent salary. I just walked through an entire exercise with one of my clients, and she was selling a food item. And we went and looked at all of her ingredients. But one thing that she had left out was the labor and also the equipment and kitchen lease cost. What we found out is she sells two different sizes of the item that she makes. She has a 4-ounce size and a 16-ounce size. Well, she was selling more of the larger size. But when we did our exercise, she found out that she sold more and made more money off of the smaller size. So because of that, we're now working on a completely different sales strategy for her. And she is super, super excited, because her being able to make money instead of losing money is going to help her have a sustainable business. So be clear on all of your costs. Maybe if your margin has dropped over time, maybe it's time for you to start sourcing a new supplier. If you were only sourcing overseas, let's say coming in from China, and just the amount of shipping that you're having to cost, maybe look at other distributor suppliers in other parts of the country, or even here locally. If you have a food item, you can use Recipal, RECIPAL.com. Again, RECIPAL.com. That is such an incredible tool to help you price your product. And you can play around with different margins, different ingredients. It helps you come up with your nutrient label. So that's a great resource for anyone that might be selling food. So in this example, when you see 65%, you might think, what does that mean? That means for every dollar sold, you have 65 cents of every dollar in regards to margin. Now, that's not your bottom line, and we're going to talk about that, but that does let you know how much you're making based on every dollar that you sell. So I want you to think about, many times I have clients that will say, I want to have $1 million business or a $4 million business. Listen, if you have $1 million business and you spend $1 million, what is your profit? Zero. On the flip side of that, if you have a $100,000 business and you only do $70,000 that it cost you, you then have $30,000 that is left over as profit. Which business is more profitable? the $100,000 business because they have $30,000 of profit left. So it's important that you understand all of the different levers that you can use in your business beyond just sales to make sure that you're pricing and making smart decisions. Gross margin determines your spending power. And if you're going to access capital, this is one of the things that they want to see. They want to know how much margin, what your markup is, and what your profit is. So let's talk about profit, and then we'll wrap up and get ready for questions. So we all start with this big bag of money. These are our total gross sales. And then as we go along in regards to profit, our bag of money gets smaller and smaller. So I always feel like this is such a great way for you to see exactly what happens with your money. So your gross profit, sorry about that. So your gross profit after revenue takes into account your cost of goods sold. We talked about that. All right. So you got a little less money. Your operating profit now takes into impact your operating expenses, your advertisement, your marketing dollars, your payroll, your licensing, your subscriptions that you need. That's your operating profit. Your net profit, which is your bottom line. Everyone is focused on that bottom line, takes into account also your taxes that you have to pay out, and that's your bottom line. So you can see how those gross revenue gets reduced based on different costs and expenses in the business. So how do we pull this all together? The way that we pull this all together is for you to not drive your business forward blind. You don't want to make assumptions about your business. You want to go onto your payment processing, however it is that you track your sales, and just run a report. Start to understand what that report is telling you. There is critical information that will help you be able to know, is my business struggling? Is my business growing? Is it maintaining kind of the same level as it was the previous year? There's no greater time. Most of us are in the process of like working with our accountants to file our taxes. This is a great time to really zero in and understand what has already happened in the business. But I want you to know those financial numbers that you turn over to your account, they've already happened. We call those lag measures. You need to be more focused on, what do I need to do next? What is the lead in the business, the lead measure that I need to take? So there are many different marketing campaigns. Let's say that you are feeling like, Rosalind, I'm in that struggling category. There are so many different marketing campaigns you can kind of get to re-engage consumers back in your business. Maybe you just have email announcements that go out and let them know about, hey, these are upcoming events. We want you to shop with us. I just did that with one of my clients that is a florist, and we came together and pulled together this strategy for her to start getting ready for Mother's Day, Teachers Appreciation, Admin Day, and she's going to start sending out these email blasts. So you can target different holidays that you know you have an uptick in your business. Or maybe it's abandoned cart. Someone has put something in their shopping cart. I do this all the time, and they've not purchased it. Send them a little discount so you re-incentivize them to start re-engaging with you again. This is also sometimes called a win back campaign. Maybe it's someone who hasn't engaged with you. You sold them something 6 months ago. They came in for a massage, or they came in for a certain product for their skincare, and they haven't brought anything since. Send them an email saying, we miss you, and provide them an incentive to come back, or let them know what's new in your business. Maybe you also launch a loyalty program. Again, you can do this with many of these different softwares, whether it is Shopify or Clover or Square. I mean, they have so many bells and whistles. Don't just pay that money for that software and don't use what they are offering you. All of what we talked about are measurements, like tracking your weight to see that you're living a healthier lifestyle. They all help provide hard evidence that you're making progress or not in your business. So we are here in the Navigator program to support you on this journey. Remember, there's no quick fix. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. It's a journey. Be patient with yourself. Don't drive blind. But I just want you to know we can help you build a dashboard of maybe 5 things that you want to track in 2023. We would love to help you with that. Jesus, I'm going to see if there are any questions.
Okay. So once again, I put the link if you want to meet with Rosalind to go over your pricing structures, also with our other navigators. Just feel free to put the register in the link below. Or I know that some of you are already clients under Navigator program. And then you could shoot me an email and I'll be able to assist you within that regard. Okay. And then if you have any questions, just shoot me an email and I'll be able to connect you with Rosalind with your particular question. Okay. And then secondly, Rosalind's also having a workshop next week, how to sell out of your products by creating compelling displays. So definitely is a part 2 of today's conversation. So definitely encourage you to register. And right there is just carrying the baton, carrying the aha moments from today's conversation.
Yeah, so today it felt like, when you talk about retail math, it's not a sexy subject, but it is something that you need to know as a business owner. Next week, we'll get to definitely the fun part of what is retail merchandising. How do I create these displays, whether I'm at a pop-up event? I know I had a client who was at the Coconut Grove Art Festival. How do I create these compelling displays that just make people want to come shop with me? How do I differentiate myself, especially if you're selling next to a whole bunch of different people? So we're going to talk about that next week, because the way you merchandise the product on your table is, or whatever it is that you use on your fixtures, is an important indicator of if someone's going to feel compelled to want to purchase from you. So part 2 next week.
Yep. And then okay, I am gonna open up a mic for one participant. Okay.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gasoline. So Rosalind, I like everything you're talking about, and Jesus, please, please, please link me up with her. So I make wigs. I'm a master wig artist. I make wigs for women suffering hair loss. I also sell hair extensions, and the closures and stuff that goes along with it. So at one point I was trying to do that 10%, 25% markup, but I realized, okay, you got shipping, you got labels, you got different products and stuff, plus selling your rental and everything of that nature, like you mentioned, the fixed and the variables.
Yes.
So what I started doing was just doing 100% markup. Saves me time, don't have to stress about how I'm gonna profit or whatever. And it works out because not only do I make a profit, but I'm also able to pay my rent. I'm also able to buy the products that is needed. So is that a good thing or a bad?
Listen, you just said I'm able to pay my rent and this and that. Like, if you're able to, when you're thinking about your markup, what's most important is you want to make sure that you don't price yourself out of business, meaning
Correct.
that other, your competition is pricing in a much different way. But if you are able to build in that healthy markup into your price, yes, you're doing the right thing. Absolutely. If your customer is not resistant to that price and they're still being able to purchase your product, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I want to connect with you because that's my other issue. Like when it comes to like the profit margins and the gross and all this stuff, yeah, it can be a bit confusing sometimes or make you frustrated. You're trying to learn your business, but I realize from trying to do a pitch competition, how important I need to understand and know my finances. I have a CPA, but it's like she rather do the job, and it's like maybe it's time to hire somebody else because I need knowledge. So I definitely want to link up with you.
Yes, absolutely. I always want to make sure that when I'm working with my clients that they understand, because it's just going to help you be be able to make richer decisions in regards to your business. But this sheet, this slide that I have up is one that really provides a great visual of where your money is going.
Okay.
So, yeah, but definitely we will connect.
Thank
So
you
nice
so
to meet you.
much.
You're so
Jesus,
welcome.
please don't
I
forget.
got you. I got you.
Okay.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, yes, sir.
All right. So if I know that I have some questions right here. Okay, so all right. Luisa, if you could type up the questions and I'll be able to answer on your side, on your behalf. And then Felix, yes, we'll be in communication so I could connect it with Rosalind. Okay. Yeah, so let me see. Okay. Yeah, so at the same time, once again, this is a recorded webinar, so I will be emailing everyone the link from a YouTube channel, the presentation as well, also with some upcoming events of some links. So you could go ahead and get yourself registered. It's all different faucets from on sending your business taxes, how to create a business plan, access capital. So we'll be able to assist you with all different faucets of what small business entails. We have consultants and organizations on the Navigator program that can guide you through the process.
Mhm.
Okay. And then Ross, I have a question for you. What
Yeah.
other information should I be prepared to begin the grant application process in terms of number wise?
It depends on what they are asking for. We obviously have different consultants that can help you in regards to access to capital, in regards to filling out your forms, but it depends on what they're asking for. So sometimes they could be looking at what your profit has been and they want your, just general tax returns. They might want to see some projections of where you are going. So based on what your performance was in 2022, they might want to see where you're projecting and then making sure you have the infrastructure in place from a capital investment standpoint to be able to support that projection. So I don't know what type of business it is or what type of grant it is. So it's just specific to your specific industry. It could be any number of metrics that they want to look at. It could be a balance sheet. It could be a profit and loss statement.
All right, perfect. Okay, so once again, if you have any additional questions, just don't hesitate, shoot me an email and I'll be able to connect you with Rosalind or with any of our business navigators. And also, we also have additional colleagues outside that could definitely help you out in terms of access capital, like the Community Fund of North Miami-Dade, Miami-Dade Foundation, Career Source South Florida. So it's, anything that we could do to be of assistance,
Yes.
just let me know and I'll be more than happy to connect you with the appropriate colleagues. Absolutely, you could contact me directly and I'll be the conductor of the orchestra.
Yeah.
And we'll all make the music and beat at your own drum or your own step. So definitely right here's a QR code as well. So you could definitely go ahead and register. And like I said, we're family. So anything I could do or we could do as a Navigator program, we're an email, a phone call, and an event away. So I want to thank you all for attending today's webinar, and we'll be talking to you soon. Take care.